Welcome back, guys, to GSL's Code. We're in the second part of the day here. We're in the second game of the second part of the day here. We are. Don't give me that giggle. That's where we are, man. I'm just putting out the truth. So we are going to have Noblesse versus Hero. The map is Tal'Darim Altar.
I don't know. These two guys, I think, will match up quite well.
The thing about this matchup is that I haven't really seen Noblesse play TVP. I just haven't really seen it yet. And I think for that reason, it makes me it makes it difficult to predict what kind of style we're going to see from him.
Yeah, it is. But that's a good thing on his part, though. It's something he's got under his belt. Hero doesn't actually know how he's going to play. Like, of course, these Korean teams do trade a lot of information, so they know who's going to be playing their styles. But until you do it on TV, in the booth, you never know.
Exactly. You just really don't know, because one player can play one style every day on the ladder over and over and over again, but then practice one specific build with another team or with his own team and keep that information secret. And then the next thing you know, you come out on the real game and you're like, oh, he didn't do what I expected him to do on the ladder. You know, when I play him on the ladder, he does it.
Noblesse himself. There we go. Prepares well with specific builds.
Yeah, that's actually something that I would like to say about Noblesse that I've observed so far. He shows a lot of creativity. Like, I always talk about this when I talk about Noblesse, but he was the first guy to use ghosts and TVT in the GSL. Very quick ghosts. He used them to, of course, EMP cloak Banshees and then snipe Marines and do a very aggressive style of ghost type of play. We saw that MMA tried to do that in the Super Tournament Finals. Didn't work out. Well, that kind of style can work out, and I like that he was creative enough to come up with that.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see which builds he's going to use today, and of course we have on the other hand OGS Hero. There we go. Has MC and Inga to practice with.
Yeah, he's got those two pro S's on his team, obviously. And in fact, when I saw him at the GSL, or at the Code qualifiers, I stood behind him and he had the ID Inca, because you use different IDs when you're doing the qualifiers. And I was like, that's not Inca. Inca, he's in Code S, man. And I looked behind him, I was like, he doesn't look like Inca at all. And then I figured out it was Hero, and I was like, it makes sense.
It does. Of course, he had a very tough run through the Code qualifiers. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who he played, but I remember there were very long games, and then I had to run into Donregu before it qualified and managed to take him out 2-0. And he was so happy after that, he fist pumped the air.
He was really happy, and Donregu was a little bit frustrated. He looked very upset. But
it is one part of the Code qualifiers that a lot of people don't understand, is they play 4 sets against very strong players, and some of those games, as we saw from a couple of players there, they went for every game they played was about 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And after you do 2 or 3 sets of that, you just want to die.
And if you're not a foreigner, you have to be in the Grandmaster League, essentially, to participate. The very top-level masters, you have to get permission to play. If you're not in Grandmaster League, you have to get permission.
I believe it was the top 176, and then they took the people who were the most highest on the ladder. And I think the lowest person for this Code, I believe, was 1,400 masters on the Korean server. But they disappear pretty quickly at Code.
And they do it kind of like on a case-by-case basis. So basically, there are no bad players at the Code qualifiers.
Absolutely.
They're all the best players in Korea. And of course, you have some foreign guys in there who aren't the best. But otherwise, if you're Korean, though, it's going to be rough.
And here we go, looking at the maps. Here we got first city is, of course, Tal'Darim Altar, going into Dual Sight second, which is interesting. And then Metalopolis to finish off.
These are some good maps. I think they're all pretty balanced. Dual Sight, a very small map. So I think if we see Hero play on Dual Sight, he may struggle there just based on the style I've seen from him. He kind of likes to use a lot of harassment-oriented play to kind of keep himself into the macro game. If he's stuck on 2-base versus 2-base, I think that's kind of somewhere he doesn't want to be. He likes to just kind of buy himself enough time to get that third. It's very difficult to do that on Dual Sight. So
Dual Sight hasn't been around very long either, so it's hard to see how the metagame's going to change in the matchups on these maps.
Yeah, true.
Of course, you do have in-house stuff where OGS will be preparing specific builds, MVP will be preparing specific builds, but it's not until you see these two types of players clash that we'll see how it goes, and looks like we are going to go into the game very shortly.
Yeah.
As the countdown has started.
Countdown starting. Tal'Darim Altar, like I said, a very important map for Hero to win here, because I don't think he'll do well on Dual Sight. We'll find out here in just a minute. The map is loading. Are you ready, Unstable?
I am.
I'm ready.
You're always ready, Wolf.
I'm always ready.
Always ready.
I'm so ready. So I always tell Mr. Che when he runs into me, he's like, are you ready? I'm like, I'm so ready. And he laughs and smiles at me.
That's all right. So we are going to have a TVP coming up on Tal'Darim any second.
Any moment now. The probes are mining. I see them. Going. They're mining.
Unless Jack has fallen asleep back there and hasn't actually done anything.
The probe's going to make a pile on here pretty soon. I'll commentate. I'll give you guys the radio about it. All right, here we go.
There we go.
All right, over here at the bottom right, member of the team MVP. Used to be called Cute Foyu when he was part of Foyu. A strong Terran player, very creative. He is known as
MVP Noblesse.
I don't actually get that one.
I don't know, but I like it. All right, so there's Noblesse, of course, but his opponent at the top right, a very strong pro on the team OGS. I've seen him play a lot.
OGS hero.
Oh my god, Kisato.
I love Chisato.
I love that guy. All right, so both on the right-hand side of this map. How do you think that's going to play out between these guys in these positions?
Well, these positions obviously are good for Terran because in Terran versus Protoss, the Terran usually doesn't want to be really far away from his opponent in most cases. But in this particular case, we do see Hero taking gas right away, so he's not going to be doing any sort of super fast Nexus. Have seen a lot of Protosses try to adapt different builds. Like there's the one gate expand where you make no units and then you make a Nexus. There's the Nexus first. There are a lot of different builds that Protosses have kind of figured out as the maps have gotten bigger and better here at the GSL and on the ladder as well. Thanks to Blizzard for... I know Blizzard's out there trying to improve the maps, so I really appreciate that.
No, they do work hard on that. Sometimes it doesn't look like it, but they actually are working really hard on that. But there's one build in particular that I saw yesterday that I really want to see again. And you know which one I'm talking about.
I don't know which one you're talking about,
The one
man.
the Genius used.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
I was like, what are you talking about? So, what Unstable is talking about, for those of you guys who don't know, is there was a build that Genius did against QXC where you make 5 gateways and then you attack. Now we saw actually, I think it was the best Foyu. No, it was Beyond. He was taken out by Legal Mind in the Super Tournament with that exact same build. Basically what you do is you make a lot of sentries and you get that 5th gateway up with the extra minerals that you have from making mostly sentries. And then afterwards, you force field your opponent off, and it's very, very difficult to hold a gasless expand. As we see, Noblesse right now is taking that gasless expand. Very difficult to hold that if your opponent does a build like this, and we may very well see that from Hero.
Yeah, we do have bunkers going down here for Noblesse very, very early. He's actually... Oh, I thought he was going to be going around scouting everything. We've got a couple of gateways up in the top right, very corner of Hero's base there. That's very interesting.
Well, there is a build that Protoss has been doing right now. It's actually the build I do half the time. The other half the time I do 1 gate robo because it's actually the safest build. But when you do this build, you go up to 3 gateways, and you pressure a lot and then make a Nexus.
Oh, yeah.
I love this move. I don't know if we'll get a shot of it. There's a pylon actually right below. He's going to use that to warp units up. All he has to do is get past the 1 bunker, then he can warp reinforcing units in there. Now, this isn't an all-in. He's just going to be very aggressive and pressure with this.
So he's got the chance that Stalker there are no Marauders in the mix yet for Noblesse. He's got 1 in production now, but if he can run straight past that bunker, it should be okay. But we got to wait for Warp Gate Research to finish. It's finishing up any second now, so it's going to be a very tough timing. Concussive Shells is not done yet.
It will most likely be done before he engages, but here he goes, running past here. He's going to maybe start targeting those SCVs. He's going to get next to that pylon, and here come the Stalkers. With this build, you warp in mostly Stalkers. You have to micro against the Marauders. Once you take out the Marauders, your Stalkers can take care of everything else. Has to be careful to avoid that bunker, though, getting a little too close. The Stalkers may get trapped here.
Yeah, he wants to stay away from that bunker. Those Marines coming out of it as well. It looks like he's trying to focus down as many as he can. Losing a lot of Stalkers here, though. Nice control by Noblesse. Not getting frazzled by that.
And that's it. I just don't even know what to say. He didn't control his Stalkers as well as he needed to. Didn't chrono boost his gateway, so he didn't have the next round of units out. That was just completely thwarted. He killed maybe a Marine and half of an SCV and lost his pylon, all of his units. Even his Nexus was late. He was stacked up to 700 minerals. And Hero, I'm disappointed in you, man. I talked so good about you, and then you come in here and you mess it up.
Well, it is his first televised match.
Exactly.
I have to give it that.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Nerves do come into play in this kind of a situation. And now his Stalkers are going to get caught by Marauders again. Loses one of these Stalkers. That's huge. And I gotta say, he's 11 supply behind now. His Nexus isn't even done. He only has those 3 gateways, and he's not gonna be able to hold this attack. He's gonna lose his Nexus.
Yeah, he might actually. He's got about 7 Marines and 3 Marauders coming up there. Hero warping in, more Zealots to try and tank as much of that damage, but he's only 5 units here. This could really damage him. I'm not gonna put it past Noblesse. to actually focus down the Stalkers, and looks like he's just going to go straight for that Nexus. That will be the answer that I have.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to hold this. He's not even chrono boosting his gateways. Hero choking here a little bit, and he's going to try to hold this now. He does have enough units to hold, but smartly Noblesse pulls back. Noblesse could have been maybe a little bit more aggressive, but now he's going to have to run away. Didn't reinforce with his units either, didn't rally any of his units, just played it safe. He didn't know if there was another pylon maybe lurking around to warp units in for a counterattack. So I like his choice of backing off, but he could have done a lot more with that.
Yeah, I like his decision making there. If he decided to rally all his units, like you were saying, that forward pylon could really hurt him, and it has undone a lot of Terran players in the past.
Absolutely. Well, that Nexus is up now. He was able to save it, and you know, I maybe got a little bit too excited and was saying that there's no way he can hold it. Did it just barely manage to warp those units in, but had Noblesse just attacked the army instead of the Nexus and picked off those Stalkers, the reinforcing units would have just not been enough.
That's right. We do have a Ghost Academy, very early Ghost Academy coming in from Noblesse.
This is kind of becoming the style. Marine King started doing it. Now a lot of people are doing it. And before Marine King, we did see some players, even like the Best was using it. SC Foyu was using it a little bit, where you get that fast Ghost Academy off of 2 base after you do a gasless expand. That way, if you get ahead kind of as he has, your opponent's going to be relying on those sentries. And what's the best way to deal with those sentries when you have the economy to do it? Ghosts. It's the best way.
Yeah, people really underestimate the power that sentries have in this matchup. You take away those force fields and it just becomes a one-sided affair that it just doesn't look like it from when looking at the tops of the screen. We do have more unit turret going up here for Noblesse in his main. I'm just having a look on the production tab here. Very wise choice. A lot of people do try and follow up with DTs if they feel they're behind.
Yeah, we have seen that a lot recently, actually. And this probe actually wanted to take this on. Like, Watchtower, that Marine only has one hit. Oh, combat shield finished at that exact moment as well. So if the probe had hit it, he would have still died.
Yeah. We do have a very scary army here by the looks of it, and coming across with 2 ghosts as well. I think he's just going to go and try and end it here.
Yeah,
if he can get a good EMP off, he should be in a nice position to just go up there. Needs to be careful not to get caught out of position coming up that ramp though.
Remember, he does have combat shields and stim. He's basically just trying to hit those sentries. Nice splitting by Hero though. And the ghosts are here. He's going to try to scan. May EMP some of these units. Hero being very nervous. He's not entirely sure what to do. And here come the ghosts.
Oh, he got 3 of them. I actually think he got all of them. No, he doesn't have enough. Does get some force fields off, but loses a few zealots. And I think he actually forced the stim as well.
This is not the right time to attack for Hero. He should have waited for a few more units. Even though he's got half of his opponent's units out there, he's not going to be able to hold this, I don't think. Some more good force fields, though, and actually, he may hold this, doing a lot of damage, but as these Marauders come in, again, Noblesse not reinforcing his units, and it's going to be a pretty even trade.
Yeah, it just comes down to those force fields. So like we were saying, it's just so critical how widely they can split the battle there.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought after the EMPs he just wouldn't have enough forces, but he actually had the sentries that didn't get EMP'd had enough energy banked up to where he was able to force field. Very, very close though. And even so, he didn't need to engage just then. If he had just waited a little bit longer, he would have actually crushed the army of Noblesse.
Exactly. We do have leg speed and +1 attack coming out here for Hero as well now. He's got more turrets going up. He really doesn't want those DTs in his base that, of course, we know aren't on the way. But I like the fact that Noblesse is playing safe.
Yeah. Noblesse is about to have +1. It just finished. And meanwhile, we already have +1 armor for Hero. And like you said, he is getting +1. A nuke is in production for Noblesse. This guy is creative. I wonder if he may try to scan and then nuke the probe line from behind the base as he runs his units around the front.
Yeah, I think if it's going to work, he needs to split up Hero's attention. He needs to do it in both locations. Maybe attack around the top of the third that Hero can take and come in from the top there. At the same time, run a scan and a nuke down the bottom. Try and fake him out, because if he does one at a time, I'm confident that Hero will respond correctly.
I think you're right, and it looks like it may be a nuke back here. He is going to take out this assimilator at the very least.
He's actually using that factory to scout for him, which I like. Instead, he's going to hold back Hero, especially with that gas. Does take out a probe. He's trying to get out of there in the middle of the map.
And he actually, sorry to cut you off, he actually does not have a ghost with that army that he's got out here, so not going to be able to nuke right away.
Does have one in production, though. Does he have any on the field? That's the question.
Oh, that is a good question. I'll check. No, he does not. So that's unfortunate.
I like the fact he's denying this 4th gas, especially since Hero has gone for Blink Heavy and a lot of upgrades. It's going to really hurt his ability to get those out as fast as he wants. And it looks like we are going to see him go around the top by the looks of it. Right as Hero comes down the ramp, he might want to try and chase him. He sees that one Marine. Did see him walking to the front. I think he's also seen that dropship as well.
Looks like he's going to go for it. Maybe not. These Stalkers in kind of a tough spot. The Zealot is going to spot the army.
He spotted the army, but this Ghost is coming up through the middle of the map as well. And he's just trying to bide his time, trying to find the best position to engage. And oh, there's quite a few Stalkers being caught out of position up here as well. And here comes the Ghost.
Yeah, this Ghost is going to be really scary. The factory, of course, does get vision.
And there's the nuke.
There it goes. The nuke has launched.
But has he noticed? I don't think he's noticed. At the same time, he's pulled his army back. He's actually going to lose this third Nexus if Noblesse actually focuses it. I can't see the mineral line. Did he pull his probes?
He did pull his probes, and the nuke hits nothing, but he does lose his third Nexus. This is exactly what you and I were talking about. Great to split his army, attack the third base location as he nukes, splitting the attention of Hero. Great creative play by Noblesse.
Yeah, we're looking here, though. They are still pretty even on the supply, 147 to 131. So it's a lot more even of a game than we think.
Exactly. Losing that third base was pretty bad. Remember, though, Noblesse has taken the third command center. He is just now starting to mine from it, so that's going to be pretty huge. These Zealots not in the right spot. They have to walk all the way around this cliff before they can engage. Not a good place to be.
Archon's in the mix here for Hero's army as well. People really underestimate Archons and how much damage they do to Bio.
They have been, of course, being used a little bit more recently because of that buff. They have better range now and also can avoid concussive shells.
Here we go. Looks like these guys are just poising for position.
Finally does get control of that Zelnaga watchtower. That's something that's been frustrating him for a while. And we actually have a drop up here onto the high ground into the main, as well as the natural, actually. The natural drop has been deflected, but again, there's another drop in the main as these sentries fall. That sentry had a lot of energy on it.
It's actually continuing to drop units up. They're using the dropship for vision, getting a lot of probes, actually. And it looks like Hero has been split up his attention yet again. Yeah. Noblesse doing an amazing job of just keeping Hero on the back foot.
So really nice style by Noblesse, just being aggressive in several different locations, abusing the fact that the Zealots cannot attack at this location, drawing them back by dropping units onto the high ground, making them use their charge, and then of course backing away. Even dropping in the main, we didn't get a shot of it, was deflected, but he's just being in so many places at once that it's very difficult for Hero to deal with.
He's just inch by inch clawing his way a lead in this match.
Exactly. Has to be very careful. This isn't a very large force out here in the middle of the map. If Hero catches him in a bad spot, he may end up losing all of these units.
He's got two more dropships moving across into the main. This could be very dangerous as all of Hero's army is pretty much in the middle of the map, chasing Noblesse across the wrong way. And oh, an EMP went on all those sentries. That was huge.
Drop going off as these armies engage here. Zealot's just trying to chase. He does not want to engage that, just trying to keep his bio away. But here comes these stemmed units into the main. He's going to unpower all those gateways. There are just a few pylons there. And then, of course, there will be an Artosis pylon. And all of the gateways will fall.
Here we go. Looks like Hero's actually ignored that army. He could have chased that all the way down. He did actually force a lot of stems and actually going to get the Templar Archives. All of that is unpowered at the moment. And there is just no units anywhere. Gets the Robo as well. This is looking really good for Noblesse. Actually going to force the stop of this upgrade as well. And he might actually even get away.
It looks like he may kill these Zealots and then the Forge and then leave. The Stalker is actually being caught in a bad position here by Noblesse's army. Noblesse's multitasking is so good here in this game. He is just everywhere at once. He may kill the Forge. He does kill the Forge. He may even kill these Zealots and pull away, and again attacking the third base location at the same time with this small Marauder force, just engaging all at the right places all at once, lifting up, pulling back. Great play by Noblesse.
It looks like he also engaged the main army there of Hero while we were focused on that drop. Got a lot more Zealots come through. I don't know, he seems to just be everywhere.
He is everywhere at once. You just can't stop him. There's no longer a Forge, there's no longer a Templar Archives. This dropship is empty. Will be taken out. Small victory for Hero.
He's putting a lot of pylons around those gateways this time. Doesn't want it to happen again.
He absolutely is.
Stops another drop up here in the third base. But really, if we look at it, it's a maxed out Noblesse versus a 150 for Hero.
Yeah, and this engagement could go very poorly. There are some ghosts here with a lot of energy. Oh, and the Zealots charged at the worst possible moment. Now none of them have their charge ability.
But the army of Hero still looks a lot bigger.
It does. He just has so many units because a lot of the units of Noblesse are elsewhere.
They're all in dropships.
They really are, and this factory may finally get taken out. Nice We do see this style on this map a lot, making a planetary at a choke point as well as a missile turret. So that's going to make it very difficult for Hero to move out, especially with those Zealots. The Zealots just want to attack the planetary. The planetaries, of course, make life miserable for Zealots.
It looks like Noblesse has only just now started upgrades. Let's have a look at the upgrades, Wolf.
All right, upgrades for Noblesse are 1-1, whereas the upgrades for Hero are +1 armor and +2 weapons.
We do have another drop in the main, getting a lot more kills as well, but he's going to be thwarted a little bit sooner than last time. Lots of Marauders in the mix, taking out so many Stalkers.
And in the meantime, he's going to attack the natural while the Zealots are occupied. Zealots running forward here, but they're just not any support.
EMP's got through all of those sentries. There are no force fields anywhere. Noblesse doing an amazing job of microing these units. All the Zealots are almost gone. This could be it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be at all of these sentries with, like you said, no energy, cannot battle, warping in more sentries, but what can they do? They can only delay the inevitable. The Archon falls, the dropship in the main has been cleaned up, but a lot of the units that were attacking it have died as well. I think this is going to be the end for Hero here in Game 1.
And there's the GG. Now, I have to say, I was very impressed by Noblesse.
I was extremely impressed with his multitasking. The nuke, the attacking the third base, the dropping the main, then dropping the third base, then dropping the natural, moving the factory at the natural, then attacking the natural to medevacs. Just too much stuff. I couldn't even keep up with all of it.
You can see on Hero's face there, he really knows what went wrong and he just couldn't keep up. And that is going to be very daunting going into Game 2.
Especially on a map that doesn't really suit his style. Makes it very, very difficult to play into the mid and late game on that map. So, Noblesse has got to be feeling pretty good about this.
I don't know, I got to give the upper hand to Noblesse now. Not only is it a map that he would most likely play better on, as we were talking about Hero's style, but he also has that mental edge going in, and I don't think Hero has a response to this.
Yeah, Noblesse, he's creative. Like, the nuke was kind of creative, but I have not seen him play that well before. I just haven't seen. I know he's pretty good. I've seen him before. I have not seen him play that well. And that type of harassment is it can be cost ineffective or extremely cost effective depending on how effective it ends up being. But if you do it just like Noblesse did, where you draw the army over here, you draw it over here, then you drop in the opposite place, that's when it starts being effective. If you do drops and your opponent shuts them down every time, then you get way behind and it's terrible. But if you do it the right way, like Noblesse did, you can get so far ahead.
You can indeed, but I don't know. Like we say, we haven't seen that many results from Noblesse, but he was put out as a starter against Slayers in the GSTL.
That's true.
And you don't see 99% of these players play from GSL and from GSTL or anything online. And I think he's actually a rising star for MVP.
He's just better than I thought he was, man.
He was
this
indeed.
guy is Code S material. I saw that right there, and I think that's most likely Code S material. That's the kind of style of TVP that people have been doing that's really, really awesome.
It is indeed. So it looks like we're going to go into Game 2 here on Jules' side.
Yep, the map is loading. There will soon to be probes mining. So bear with us here for just a moment. I'm going to load up the game in just a second as the Korean commentators wrap it up. I am Wolf, and with me is Unstable. We're here at the GSL Code A.
Day 1B.
Yeah, day 1. This is the second part of the matches.